This video is about the data screen. Up here in the red stripe is data for the data screen. I'm going to click on it. Here is the data screen. As the program is running, it will tell you the value of the registers, the value of the variables, and you can also click on work lists and see what values are in there. You can see the values in any one of the given lists, and you can see the values in any one of the app lists. Page data, you can click here on work pages and see the data in the work pages. You can go over here and see the data in the temporary pages and in the app pages. Over here, global registers. Here are the global registers. You know them because they end in the lowercase g. The global registers are available to every one of the programs, main program through the 9 subprograms. Here are the main registers. You know them because they end with a lowercase m. These registers are also available to all the programs, the main program through the subprograms. Any one of them can change these values or read these values. Next is the subregisters. Each subprogram and also the main program has its own set of subregisters. You know them because they end in the lowercase s. Next is the local registers. The main program through each one of the subprograms has its own set of local registers. Now, if you're in the main program, main registers are used as the control registers in the main program. In the subprograms, the subregisters are used as the control registers. Now down here we see main program button through subprogram 9 button. If I click on the main program here, these are the register values for the subregisters and the local registers in the main program. I know right now it's running subprogram 9, so I'm going to click on there. And you'll see that some registers are changing here. First, we can go over here and see that global register A is changing between 1 and 1001. Here, in subprogram 9, local register A is changing between 11 and 1111. Now next are the variables. There are 60 variables. Each contains one value. Here, some of the variables have had their names changed to reflect what they're used for. Here is the sign. We can see that the sign value is changing between 21 and 1021. Now these variables are used by the main program through all 9 of the subprograms. It is only registers that are limited to which program they're in, and then it's only these 2 columns. variables can be seen everywhere and changed everywhere. Next here are work lists. Now they can't be shown on this screen because there are 60 work lists and each one contains 10,000 values, so they can't be shown here. But I can click on work lists and then pick one of them. Some were renamed to reflect what they're used for. I'm going to click on the first one, list 1. Here you see that list 1 has 10,000 values, and at offset 0 changes between 111 and 444. At list 01 offset 1, it changes between 222 and 555. Now I'm going to leave here by leaving data, but then I'm going to go right back to data. That was work lists. Well, there's also work pages. Again, there are 60 work pages, and they often contain over 2,000 characters. So we're going to go to there, and then we're going to pick one of them. Only one of them has been renamed. We'll click on that one. Here we see table text, and it has 2,048 characters, which we can see most are blank. But at offset 0, there can be 5 A's, and then the program changes it to 5 B's. So you can see the data changing as the program is running. Yeah, I'm going to click the screen away and go back to data. Over here, we see the lists that are given lists. Some of them contain values when the program starts. In particular, this one, ran X, contains random single digits. Ran C here has random colors. So click on that. These are random colors. You can use them in your program if you want a random color. Also important one down here is random values. Click on random values. Here you see that random values, there are 10,000 random values. I will tell you their values go from 0 to 9,999. Random values, you can use them when you want a random number. Next are the app lists. App lists are saved with the program. Work lists are not. So if you want data to appear when your program starts, you can put it in the app list. In particular here, I'm going to look at list C. I happen to know that list C contains 3 patterns. You know it's a pattern because it starts with 1,230,000, and the last 3 digits contain the number of values in the pattern. And here we see the 27 values. Here is another pattern. Again, it starts with a magic number and says there are 13 values in that pattern. And here is another one. It also has 13 values in its pattern. So this is an app list where patterns were built, and we know those patterns will be available when the program starts. Now, there are also pages. These are called the temporary pages. I happen to know that past here is changing. The program changes it between saying Devonshire and subprogram. says there are 512 characters in the page called past. Right. These are called temporary pages, which can be used by the program but are not saved and restored when it stops and starts. Over here are the app pages. These pages are saved with the program, and when it's reloaded, they're reloaded with the data. Here, for instance, page A. Here's the data that's in page A. It has 4,096 characters. A lot of them are still blank. And I want to point out to you, here is where past was getting subprogram or Devonshire from. Alright, now you know that while the program is running, data screen will show the values. Now let's go look at the program that's running now, and I'll tell you something about it. I'll go back here to variables. Here, this particular one called tab number 914 is the tab it's going to. It's going to 9 subprogram tab 14. So now we're going to do that. We're going to go to the program. Going to be in subprogram 9. And we're going to go to the end. And here is tab 14. We see in tab 14 it's asking for a value to be put in T, which is the remainder of dividing the tick number by 50. The reason those values were changing was because sometimes it asks that the tick value is 0, it does this, and when the tick value is 25, it does this. This is why those values that we looked at and page data we were looking at would change. In particular, in this routine, I want you to see it has a halt instruction. So now I'm going to go back to executing it again. This time I'm going to go to trail, and I'm going to tell it to stop at any halt by clicking on advance. Here we see it halted. Well, it just calculated the value of T, and down here I can see the value of T is 45. So when you want to see data changing in one particular run of the program, go to trail after you've put halts where you want them to be. So using trail and data together, you can find values while the program is being executed and halted where you want it to halt. More about trail screen later. Alright, that is the data screen. And this is the end of the data screen video.